Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today to talk about something we all know too well, something that cuts deep, but it needs to be addressed: toxic family members. Now, I don't care who you are, where you come from, or what your situation is. Family is supposed to be that anchor in your life. It's supposed to be where you find love, support, and understanding. But what happens when that family is the one that holds you back? What happens when the people who are supposed to lift you up are the ones dragging you down? That's when we find ourselves dealing with toxic family members. Toxicity doesn't wear a badge. It doesn't come with a warning sign. It sneaks up on you. And before you know it, the ones you trust most are the ones who make you feel less than who you are. They manipulate, they criticize, they use guilt as a weapon, and they leave you feeling empty inside. But here's the truth, folks. You don't have to accept that. You don't have to put up with the negativity. You don't have to swallow the hurtful words, the jealousy, or the shame that they throw your way. Yes, they may be family, but that doesn't give them the right to disrespect you. No, you don't have to let them define your worth. And no, you don't have to sacrifice your peace for their dysfunction. I'm here to tell you today that it's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to protect your peace. It's okay to walk away from situations and people who drain you, even if they share your last name. You've got to prioritize your own well-being, your own mental health, and your own happiness. If it's toxic, you don't need to carry it around like a badge of honor. You can let it go. But let me make one thing clear. This isn't about cutting family off for the smallest disagreement. This isn't about holding grudges over every little thing. This is about recognizing when the poison in a relationship is doing more harm than good and choosing to free yourself from it. It's about knowing when to walk away, not out of hate, but out of love. Love for yourself. Now, I know it's tough, I know it's painful, because family is supposed to be the people who have your back, who will go to the ends of the earth for you. But sometimes we've got to be real with ourselves. Sometimes we've got to face the truth. And the truth is, not everyone in your family is going to support you the way you need them to. And that's all right. Let me leave you with this. You are not defined by your bloodline. You are not defined by the toxic relationships you've been handed. You are the sum of your choices, your actions, and the love you give and receive. So choose wisely, choose peace, choose growth, and above all, choose yourself. Family is meant to be the cornerstone of our lives, the people who offer us unconditional love, support, and understanding. They are the ones who, in the best of circumstances, stand by our sides through thick and thin, celebrating our victories and helping us navigate through our failures. You give us the tools we need to face the world with confidence. But what happens when that foundation is cracked? What happens when the very people who are supposed to uplift us become the ones who tear us down? This is the tools we need to face the world. With confidence, become the ones who tear us down. The concept of family as an emotional safety net is ingrained in us from childhood. We are taught to cherish and trust those who share our bloodlines, assuming that they will always be there for us. But the reality for many is not so simple. Some families operate not as a source of strength, but as a breeding ground for negativity. These families can stifle personal growth, perpetuate cycles of dysfunction, and leave individuals feeling emotionally bankrupt. When family becomes the source of pain rather than comfort, it can leave deep scars that are hard to heal. Toxic family members are often the ones who make you feel unworthy, like your dreams, your struggles, and your needs are less important than their own. The idea that family should always be there for you gets complicated when that presence is harmful, manipulative, or controlling. When you are constantly belittled or criticized by those who should be your biggest cheerleaders, it is not just frustrating, it can be soul-crushing. The weight of these relationships can erode your self-esteem, make you second-guess your decisions, and even question your worth as a person. The truth is, family should not be a source of stress, anxiety, or fear. A healthy family dynamic fosters encouragement and growth. It allows each member to be their authentic self without the fear of judgment or ridicule. When your family uplifts you, they listen to you, they help you grow, and they support your dreams and aspirations. They don't try to manipulate you into a version of yourself that serves their interests or expectations. When family is toxic, however, they often impose unrealistic standards, criticize your choices, and make you feel that you are never enough. This constant pressure to conform can cause immense emotional distress, making you feel isolated and misunderstood. Take, for example, the issue of control. Some family members have a deep need to control others, especially if they feel threatened by their success, independence, or differing beliefs. This behavior is particularly insidious because it can come wrapped in the guise of concern or love. They will tell you they are just looking out for you, but in reality, they are trying to maintain power over your decisions and your life. This type of behavior can be emotionally exhausting because it doesn't leave room for you to grow, change, or develop as an individual. You are forever tied to their expectations and unable to break free to become the person you're meant to be. Toxic family members can also manipulate with guilt, a tactic that can be incredibly damaging. Guilt is a powerful emotion, and when someone uses it to manipulate you, it often leads to feelings of inadequacy and helplessness. For example, a family member might guilt trip you for pursuing a career that takes you far away from home, or for choosing to spend time with friends instead of family. They might say things like, "You never visit anymore," or "I sacrifice so much for you and this is how you repay me." These statements, designed to make you feel guilty for asserting your independence, can create internal conflict. You want to be loyal to your family, but you also need to live your life on your own terms. The impact of toxic family dynamics is far-reaching. It doesn't just affect your relationship with those particular family members, it can affect your entire worldview. When your family undermines you, it can make you doubt others who truly have your best interests at heart. It can make you question your own abilities, which ultimately hinders your personal growth. It's difficult to step out into the world with confidence when the people who are supposed to have your back are the ones who are consistently tearing you down. A toxic family dynamic can also result in patterns of behavior that are hard to break. For instance, if you grow up in a family where criticism and control are the norm, you may find yourself falling into similar patterns in your adult relationships. You might unconsciously attract or perpetuate toxic dynamics with friends, partners, or colleagues because it feels familiar, even though it's unhealthy. The cycle of negativity continues, and you may not even realize it until much later, when you are exhausted and emotionally drained from trying to meet impossible expectations. But here's the critical thing to understand. You have the power to change that. The moment you realize that your family's toxic behavior is causing you harm, you can take steps to protect yourself. Setting boundaries is an essential part of this process. It's not about severing ties with family altogether, but about learning to say no when necessary and creating space between you and their toxic influence. You are allowed to prioritize your emotional and mental well-being over the expectation that you must constantly please or appease family members who do not treat you with respect. Setting boundaries doesn't mean you love your family any less, but it does mean that you love yourself enough to protect your peace. You don't have to tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or guilt tripping just because someone shares your last name. Love isn't about putting yourself last or sacrificing your happiness for the sake of others. True love, the kind of love that uplifts, encourages, and supports, is about mutual respect and understanding. However, it's important to recognize that setting boundaries with toxic family members can be one of the hardest things you will ever do. Family ties are often deeply emotional, and there's a lot of pressure to maintain those bonds at all costs. It can be painful to step back, especially when you've spent a lifetime trying to meet their expectations. But you must remember, your self-worth does not come from their approval. It comes from within. No one, not even family, has the right to dictate your value or limit your potential. The process of healing from a toxic family environment can be long, and it might involve difficult conversations and difficult decisions. It may mean distancing yourself from certain individuals or, in extreme cases, cutting ties altogether. This doesn't have to be done with anger or animosity, but rather with the understanding that your peace and well-being come first. It's about creating a space where you can grow, thrive, and be the person you are meant to be without the constant weight of negativity holding you back. Your journey is your own. It's not determined by the approval or validation of family members who are unwilling or incapable of supporting you. You deserve to be surrounded by people who love and respect you for who you are, not who they want you to be. Family, at its best, is a source of love and strength, but at its worst, it can be a source of pain and limitation. When family drags you down, it's time to recognize that you are not obligated to accept that. You have the power to choose your path, to seek out the relationships that nourish you, and to let go of those that do not.